Welcome back to Straight Facts. I'm Terry Flewers, joined by Lee Gunnar. How you doing, mate?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm very good. Just doing what I'm doing, man. Working, playing FIFA, sitting on the terrace. Not this terrace, that terrace. Although it is a bit chilly. Do you know what? This time of year, this is the worst time to have marble floors in an apartment, because as soon as the temperature drops below 20, it is cold. I even had to put the heating on last night for half an hour just to warm the place up. It was like not good. Not good at all, but yeah.
I hear you, mate. And viewers, welcome back. Everybody that's here, including Lee's Rat Army on the Football Terrace. Lots to delve into today. Will Arsenal make the top four? Was Lee Gunnar wrong about Mikel Arteta? We're going to be touching on that. A bit of a Liverpool update on transfers as well. But is Ole's sacking imminent is where we've got to start. There's a big report this afternoon from Fabrizio Romano that there's been no talk with other managers. There's no telltale signs that they're going to be sacking him anytime soon. The Woodward and the Glazers seem to be backing him. However, and I don't like to write any of these reports off. I like to discuss them and let viewers have their say. Of course, me and Lee will discuss it now. Neil Custis from The Sun, and I know it's the Sun newspaper, but a lot of people say that he gets things right about Man United. Only an hour ago, put out an article that stated Ole's sacking from Manchester United is a case of when, not if, and he's hanging on by a thread. So such sort of contradictory reports from different journalists around what's going on. A lot of reports from the continent today that Ralph Rangnick is Woodward's now number one choice to come in as this interim manager. That's kind of resurfaced today as well. So viewers, I want to get your thoughts and I want to get your feelings. We've got a poll running of how long do you think Ole will survive until Christmas, late Jan, until Man United's Champions League exit, or till the end of the season. And 49% of you think he's lasting until the end of the season. But from your point of view, Lee, when you look at these different reports coming out, what is your take? Do you think they're going to sack Ole at some point in this international window?
No. It's a straight answer to that. I actually voted on that poll and I said Christmas. I just think, do you know what it is with Ole, right? He normally pulls a result out of the bag when he needs one.
Yeah.
Although I was shocked. Yeah, I can't lie. I was shocked they never sacked him after that 5-0, because that was just an embarrassment, man. And then I watched you against Man City at the weekend, and that was an equal embarrassment without a difference, with a different scoreline. It was just a training ground game. They didn't even make a sub. They were walking around the pitch. It was just pass, pass, pass. And then when they want to speed it up, they'll just break you down. Yeah, and it was like, I think just looking at you lot, and I think Pogba's now out injured on international duty now, isn't he? He's got an injury that's going to keep him out for 8 weeks, apparently. So I think with the run of fixtures you've got coming up, you've got Chelsea, you've got Arsenal, I think you've got Crystal Palace coming up. You've got some toughish games coming up, man. But I expect him to get a result out of one of them. Yeah, can you imagine if he beats Chelsea? All of a sudden, that's him in a job for another month. You know, and that's how I see it with your club and my club. It's like every win keeps him there for an extra month. Yeah, it's like with Arteta, every win keeps him there probably an extra 3 months. But I do think he will get sacked this season. I just don't think it's now. I think it'll be about Christmas time.
Yeah, I'm a little bit like, I see a lot of fans say, Terry, give it up. He's never being sacked. I think he will be sacked. At some point, he will go. Do you know what's really hard for me? If we were a well-run club, I would think, yeah, they're working on the interim. Because if you read a lot of the reports that say there's no immediate plan to sack him, look beyond that line and it will say, you know, the report I read, or something I was told today by a journalist, is that Darren Fletcher was offered the opportunity as interim. He said no. I was told that they've spoke to McKenna and Carrick about being interim, and they've both said no, they're not ready for it. They don't think they could do it. There's almost a lot of the reports that say he's staying on for now are because we haven't found somebody to come in and replace him. And that's a big worry in itself, because you think you're Man United. How have you not found someone to even come in as a caretaker manager and kind of steady the ship until the permanent appointment is made? I think that's where my frustrations come in, because I feel like we're writing off. We're completely writing off and damaging our season completely because of this, and it's really painful. But he will certainly go, and I think my theory is that the games after the international break, I think Watford, irrespective of what we're doing, I think we'll beat them. I really do. They're not very good. However, we then play Villarreal away. Our record in Spain as a football club is poor. Our record away from home in the Champions League under Ole is abysmal. We'll lose. We're then going to play Chelsea and Arsenal back-to-back in a space of 4 days. And you're both going to smash us. You are both going to smash Manchester United. It's going to happen.
We're not going to smash you, mate. Trust me. We might beat you. We beat you last year. We're not going to smash you. Let's just have that right. Yeah. And I know we're going to come on to Arsenal in a minute, so I'll save what I was going to say. But if you actually look how many games and goals we've scored and where them goals have been scored, we're not smashing you, mate. Trust me, it's not happening. We might beat you. Who knows? Yeah, both teams are very, very, I don't know, hit and miss at times. Like, you think, oh, Arsenal will lose that today, and then they'll go and win. Man United will win that, and then they'll go and lose. And it's like, you just can't really predict what's going to happen with Man United at the minute, or with Arsenal, although Arsenal have kind of steadied it a little bit. But I don't know, man. I just think with Man United, the fact that nobody wants that job kind of sums up where you are. Like, and I just think that Man United, for me, they're still the biggest club in this country. They're still one of the biggest clubs on the planet. They're always in the top three for me. Real Madrid, Barca, and Man United, they're the three biggest clubs. Bayern Munich are probably there or thereabouts as well. But I just look at it and I think, like, the reason nobody wants that job right now is because you are a mess. From top to bottom, that club is a mess. You know, who's going to want to go and put their reputation on the line? They've seen Van Gaal go in there, win a trophy, get sacked. They've seen Jose go in there, win 2 trophies, get sacked. They've seen Ole in there, just talking about vibes and processes, and keep his job. So people must be looking at that thinking, well, you go in there and win a trophy, you get sacked, but if you don't, you stay.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? No, I totally get you, mate. And look, we've got one of the reports here, which has been put out by MUFC MPB. It's just the opening statement from Neil Custis, which is Solskjaer's reign at Man United is hanging on by a thread. The question now is not if he will be sacked by the football club. Is now when, not if he will be sacked by the football club. The mood has turned to one of resignation amongst players and staff that he is on his way. And look, Custis is very, whether you like the Sun or not, he's the guy that broke the news in LVG's reign that we were trying to sign Neymar, and I remember him getting absolute pelters. Why are you making it up? Why are you lying? Typical this, typical that. And then, like, a month or two after the window ended and Neymar was being interviewed, he was like, yeah, the Man United were at Barcelona, they were negotiating, they were trying to sign me. And it was like, yeah, he didn't just make it up then, did he? So he's well connected. He's also very well connected to one of the right-hand men of Ed Woodward at the club as well. But of course, Fabrizio has kind of come out and said something completely different today, which is that there's no plans, there's no talks with new managers or anything else. What I would say is this. Tottenham Hotspur briefed all the tier ones and all of their tier ones the weekend before Man United played Spurs at home, that there was 0 plans to sack him. It's too early on, and 2 days later, he was gone and Conte was the manager. So I'm really I have my beliefs, but I'm very open-minded to the fact that I could open my phone up at 8 o'clock tonight and see an announcement that he's been sacked. I wouldn't be like completely dumbfounded by it and that there's been a U change, because we know that a lot of the tier 1 journalists now are kind of used as sort of PR mules for the clubs. It's like, okay, we're not ready to announce it yet. So if we tell the 2 or 3 most respected journalists that it's not happening, then everybody's resigned to the fact it's not happening. Do you get what I mean?
Mm.
So, yeah, it's going to be an intriguing one to see what kind of happens in relation to that. Viewers, I'd like to know what you think and what you feel as well. Dilly Dally FC, that is Manchester United. There's no doubt about that.
That's the thing. You don't act like you used to act. I was saying this the other day. Like Man United used to go out there and go and buy the best player that didn't play for them that was in the Premier League. Berbatov, York, Cole, Carrick, Rio Ferdinand. The list goes on and on and on. And it was like you were so decisive with what you were doing. And now it's like you and ah, you and ah, you and ah. Oh, I don't know whether we should sack him. Oh, give him 3 games. Oh, but he's not done it in them 3 games. So we'll keep him still. And it's like, just make a decision. The guy's clearly not the guy to take Man United back to the glory days. Right? So why is he there? You should, as a football club, demand the best in the world. Right? And I don't know which manager you think you can get, which managers you think are available or not available. Me personally, I think every manager under contract is still available, because if you pay their contract out, you're getting them. You know, Nagelsmann, his contract was bought out and he's gone to Bayern. So, you know, these people, these clubs can go and do a transfer fee for a manager. If I was Man United right now, I'd be all over Simeone, because that guy will come in there. He's got the right mentality. He's fought against 2 of the biggest clubs on the planet on a shoestring budget at the start when he first got the job at Atletico. Obviously now they've got the income coming in, but yeah, he broke that dominance. And he's the guy that will come in, it'll make you more solid defensively. You've got good attacking players, and you could play that Atletico style. You could have your floating little number 10. You could put whoever you want there, whether it be Bruno, whether you put Pogba there, it could be whoever. Yeah, and then you've got your wingers and you've got your striker, and the striker is one of the best strikers ever. Like, do you know what I'm saying? It's like, you've got the core of a good team. You just need a top-class manager with top-class mentality.
Yeah, and do you know what it is for me? I again, Simeone isn't someone who's at the top of my list, because I would prefer a different style of play. However, there's no plan at Man United, and I think everybody's now resigned to this. So go out and get one of the best managers, even one of the best managers around, or one of the best tacticians and coaches. I don't really care. I'm beyond debating fans over, but this style, and he does this press and he doesn't press, and he uses a double pivot. No, he doesn't. He uses twin sixes. I don't care for any of that chat anymore. I got just bring me someone in who is excellent in man management and a brilliant tactician and has great coaches around him, because we have a brilliant squad that you can get a tune out of as a football club. And where you're spot on is, barring Pep, because he's at City, Klopp, I would say Tuchel at Chelsea, probably Poch at PSG, and Nagelsmann. There isn't a manager out there at a club that Man United don't have the financial muscle to pay out a contract. So it doesn't even matter if a particular club doesn't want him to leave. If you buy the contract out, there's almost nothing the club can do. If you turn around and say to Brendan Rodgers is like, yeah, but it's going to cost £12 million to buy out my contract. You go, right, well, buy yourself out, Brendan, and we'll give you the 12 million quid. It's exactly, I mean, look what Xavi's just done. Xavi, because Barca haven't got a lot of money because of the financial issues, he bought his own contract out. He just paid his own contract off, and he knows at some point at Barca he'll get that money back. There'll be a bonus for him or something, and he'll get the money back. It's so easy to sort out, and it's the deliberating that's caused this problem. And it's now 5 o'clock on Tuesday, the 9th. Ollie should have been sacked 4 days ago, and I don't even care if we don't have someone to walk in straight away. We need to get that bit done. You've said Simeone. Would that be your not? Do you think that's the best choice for Man United, or who do you think could do a better job than him?
It depends what you want. Depends what you want, because like I say this to about Tottenham as well. What do Tottenham want? What do Man United want? Because like you just said, like you want a different playing style, but surely you should just want a winning playing style, and that guy's a serial winner. And like not Nagelsmann, Ten Hag is the flavour of the month. Oh yes, like blah blah. Yes, he wins as well. Don't get it twisted, but he's doing it in an easier league. Yeah, and he's not competing with 2 of the heavyweights in world football every year, you know. So yes, he'll play nice tiki-taka football, but is he going to do that at Man United when you've got the likes of Luke Shaw in your team and McTominay in your team? Probably not going to be able to implement that as well as he has at Ajax. Whereas I think that Simeone, for me personally, I think he's the best fit right now, because you've got players there that he can easily make better. He's done it with everyone who's in his team. He's made better. Every single person. You know, Thomas Lemar, we were linked to him. He then fell off a cliff And now he's balling. He's got him balling again. It's like, you know, Carrasco's another one. He's got him balling again. It's like, this guy is a top manager, man. And I think that he's got the mentality. It's more of a mentality thing than a playing style thing for me. Because you've got to get someone in there that's going to change the mentality of Man United. Ten Hag, as good as he is, yeah, and he is good, is he going to change the mentality? You're playing good football, but ultimately you've still got a soft underbelly. Whereas if you get a manager in there with an elite mindset, an elite philosophy, and a mentality, it'll make you a lot better defensively, even with Harry Maguire in the team, because he'll just sit a player deeper or two players deeper, whereas Ten Hag's more expansive. So you're still going to get done on counter-attacks.
Yeah, look, I hear you. I mean, again, if we announce Simeone tomorrow morning, you would not see me crying. You wouldn't see me upset. I'm past all of that now. And look, I understand for some people, the tactical nuance element of the game is really, really key. But the reason why I don't care for the debate as much, as in overtly seriously, is I remember sitting down and being told by dozens of callers, Thomas Tuchel won't succeed at Chelsea because of these umpteen reasons. And he's done pretty well. There was umpteen reasons why I thought Ollie might turn things around at Man United, and it's gone in completely the opposite direction. There were people that felt when Ollie first arrived that he could have won the league with that squad. Look what they think about him now. Like, none of us really know. We have an opinion. We have a guess at whether somebody will work or not, and then we wait and see. We've found 4 managers on the bounce now. I'm just kind of over predicting what's going to happen at Man United. We've had, if that makes sense, and this is the preference thing to my football club. As a comment here that says, Terry, what's your thoughts on fans who won't go to the protest because it's a manager out protest instead of a Glazer out protest? So look, I'm not going to plead ignorance there. I have seen the Stretford Paddock, of course, formerly the full-time Devils, state they won't support this weekend's protest because it's a Ollie out. I thought it was an Ollie out and a Glazer out protest in terms of banners that I saw. I suppose my thought is this: I understand and respect their right to say they won't support a manager out protest. But if you do a Glazer out protest and the Glazer out protest was successful, so let's just say we take Ollie's name off the banners. No one at the protest mentions the words Ollie out or any kind of variation. But the Glazers listen to the protest and they start to run the club how you want. One of their first actions is sacking Ollie. so I kind of feel a little bit like that's semantics, because I hear everyone screaming for the club to be run right. And if the club is run right, then Ollie doesn't remain. Therefore, saying Glazer out is also saying Ollie out. Because there's no way, if they run the club better, Ollie's going to improve vastly as a manager. Does that make sense? He isn't going to suddenly become Pep Klopp, Tuchel, Antonio Conte, Simeone. He isn't going to do that. His football suddenly won't look like Brendan Rodgers or Graham Potter. It won't.
If you're not backing it, you're basically backing the manager. Then you're Glazer in, because that's his manager.
Yeah, no. Listen, I hear you on that. So look, as I've said, if the Stretford Paddock or other United fans don't want to go because they don't want to go to a manager out or an Ollie out protest, that's completely and utterly up to them. I just look at it from the point of view of if the Glazers run the club properly, Ollie won't be here anyway. Therefore, whatever way you want to dress it up, it's still going to get the manager sacked. And I don't want Ollie sacked because of any kind of personal reasons. I just want a better manager. You know, he's done some good things. I still think he's done well to build a good squad. I think he settled the ship. You know, what hasn't happened this time round is an air of toxicity in the dressing room and nastiness. That's coming, by the way, because every week he stays, you can tell players are getting more and more frustrated. But I put that on the owners for keeping him in his job. I also look at it now and I'm thinking maybe it's about time he looked at resigning as well, because he must know. And I say he must know, maybe he's just completely, you know, he can't see the wood for the trees, but he needs somebody to set him aside and go, Ollie, you've tried your best. And that's the one thing I would say, you've tried your best. I don't think at any moment he stopped trying. I felt like Jose, for instance, got to a point where he stopped trying. I felt like he sabotaged games. I think Ollie's different in that, so there's a different feeling towards it. But in the cold, hard light of day, Glazer out, Ollie out. They're all part of the same problem as far as I'm concerned right now that does stem from the owners. So, yeah, I think if you're going to protest, my view is this. I won't go to this protest. I'll share some stuff, and I have shared like a tweet about it and everything. I won't go because I'm the kind of person that if I'm going to protest, I think we should have carried on protesting after we signed Ronaldo. I think we shouldn't. Like, I've got a different way of protesting. I don't think the protest is going to do anything. I don't think the Glazers will care. I don't think the board will even batter an eyelid. They won't know, especially as you're doing it on a non-match day. It's going to make no impact whatsoever, in my opinion. The only way to make them change is we know my thoughts. It's a financial one, but nobody wants to do it. But yeah, that's my response to that super chat. My
Give
friend,
me 2 seconds, Harry. I just need to plug these lights in.
No worries, mate. Do what you got to do.
It's getting dark. The sun's gone down.
No worries. I'm going to plug the new competition on the Football Terrace
Right, cool.
anyway. So while he does that, just do it. So as you know, this morning, somebody guessed the secret phrase correctly. And that secret phrase was Fergie's Fledglings. And they have won the brand new Xbox and the limited edition Boohoo hoodie. We've got a brand new word in the envelope there. Oh, hang on. I've been interrupted. Hello. Hello, darling. He's crying. Is it? Hello, baby. You have a good day?
I did.
You just got home?
I did.
I missed you. Do you miss me?
I did.
Give me a kiss then. That's not a kiss. That's a headbutt. Well, I'll come see you when I'm finished, okay? So shut the door for me on the way out. Oh, you're going to get your teddy. Yeah, you left your teddies in here this morning. Yeah, pick them up. Don't knock me lights over. Watch out for my golden envelope. Lovely. Shut the door for me as well, please. Watch your fingers. Don't get your fingers caught, please. Good. There we go. Door shut. Thank you all. So there's a new secret phrase in the golden envelope there, as you can see. Same rules as before. What we are giving away as the first prize in this new competition are a pair of Cristiano Ronaldo's Nike boots. Not ones he's worn, just the style of boot he wears. We're going to buy you a pair in the size you want. It might be for you, it might be for your cousin, it might be for your brother that plays football, it might be for your kids, whatever size you want, we are going to buy. Get your super chats in and guess the new word. Now, we'll give a clue away rather than weekly when we hit milestones in stream. So if we hit 1,000 likes on the stream, we will give you a clue to the brand new secret phrase. So we have to hit 1,000 likes for that. Get those comments in now, or forever hold your peace. But yes, congratulations this morning. We spoke to the individual, and we'll get the goods out to them ASAP. We'll get that done. We did have a super chat that came in here that I want to read real quick. Where are we at? Where's it gone? Thank you, by the way, Strip Bear, for the super sticker. That means a great deal to us at the Terrace. Yusuf here says, Brendan Rodgers, he's the one. British, knows the leagues, great playing style, experience, not scared to play youth, and he will be backed, is what Yusuf has got to say here. There we go, my friend. So, Lee's back with us now. He's got his lights turned on, looking slick, looking fresh. I wanted to ask you a question, and it is Arsenal related. Do you feel like maybe you might be changing your mind sometime soon over Mikel Arteta? Do you feel like you're looking good, you're winning games? There's a lot of confidence surrounding Arsenal fans at the moment online. Like, what's your take of the run that you're on and how things are going under Arteta?
We're doing all right. I don't know why everyone's getting so hyped, but that's what we do as a fan base. We love to go on a little run, overhype every player in the squad, and then when it all comes crashing down, blame VAR, Josh Kroenke, Stan Kroenke, and referees, and rinse and repeat has been like that for the last 10 years, 15 years. In terms of the run, is what it is, isn't it? We've gone on a 10-game unbeaten run, and the only team I didn't expect to beat was Leicester. Like, that's what it is. I expect to beat Norwich, Burnley, Tottenham, because we do that every year. We didn't beat Palace, but I expect to beat them. But we were all jumping up and down like clowns when the 95th minute equaliser went in. Oh, what a game. No, it was rubbish. I expect to beat Villa, even though it's the first time in 4 attempts under Mikel. First time we've actually scored in 4 games against him. And he's now been sacked, which is kind of mad. Who else we played? Watford, again, I expect to beat Watford. You can go into the League Cup. I expect to beat AFC Wimbledon. I expect to beat Leeds. So whilst it's great that we're on an unbeaten run, ultimately it's going to lead to nothing. Because we're gonna come unstuck at some point. You can't keep nicking games 1-0. You can't, and this is what I find funny, Terry, right? You said to me earlier, and I said I'll save it for this bit, yeah. If you have a look how many goals we've scored this season, it's 13 league goals in 11 games. 6 goals out of that. So nearly half of them goals came in 2 games. 3 against Villa and 3 against Spurs. So we've scored 7 goals in 9 games. If you take them 2 out, I'm sorry, it's not sustainable. You know, when your goalkeeper and your defenders are the best players every week, there's a reason for that. It's because you're not doing enough offensively. You know, I think Maitland-Niles got man of the match at the weekend, and rightly so. I thought he was superb, absolutely superb. Yeah, and Smith Rowe as well. Like he's obviously watched the streams. Yeah, I've said you need to score more, mate, and he scored 3 and 3. So I just think like our fans, the way they go on sometimes, it really jars me, man. It's like the goalkeeper's the best in the league now because he's had a couple of saves, right? The centre-back pairing's the best in the league now because they've kept a few clean sheets. Smith Rowe's better than everyone. He's the best player on the planet, like because he scored 3 goals. And it's like, oh, come on, man, seriously, like just tone it down a bit. We do this every year. Terry, when Mustafi signed for Arsenal, we went 26 unbeaten in all comps. That's Mustafi and Koscielny. When Leno came into the team, I think he went nearly 20 games unbeaten. 19 games, I think it was. 19 games unbeaten, and everyone was gassing him up. Now nobody's mentioning him and saying he's rubbish. Like, and this is why I don't get on a hype. I've seen it too many times, Terry. It's like, you know, this fan base go from 0 to 100 real quick, and then when it all comes flat on its face, it's the owner's fault. Every single year. Every single year. Josh Kroenke was at the game at the weekend. Why weren't anyone protesting?
Well, I've seen a lot of Arsenal fans. I've seen a lot of Arsenal fans on socials in the last few days. Kind of, the line I'm reading is, I think I was wrong about the Kroenkes. I don't believe they're as bad as I thought they were. Oh, I have seen quite a lot of that. And look, my view is, I think some Arsenal fans, some Arsenal fans have believed all along that Arteta was going to come good. So for them, like, I've got no issue with anybody, but like, I understand it that they now think what they've fought for 18 months, 2 years is coming to fruition. There are others that are very flip-floppy. And what I mean by that is they're like, okay, starting to get better. It's on Kroenke, by the way, not on the manager. If we turn this corner and start being really good again, I need to like tweet now that I'm changing my mind about the Kroenkes. Otherwise, I'm going to be called out for like saying we'll never achieve anything under these owners. I've got to kind of get my tweet in now to say I was wrong.
And it's the way they word these tweets as well. I'm not on Twitter, but obviously I got suspended, which was a great joy to millions of people because it's all my fault that this club's rubbish, apparently. But it's the way these people tweet when they flip it. Yeah, it's not just, oh, I'm trusting the process now. Yeah, it's the way, based off of what I've witnessed in the last couple of games, I can see that all the hard work and all this is now coming to fruition, blah, blah, blah. But then I'll give an example, right? One particular person, I'm not going to name this person, one particular person after we lost to Tottenham when Jose was the manager, said, I've had enough of him, get rid of him, sack him. Yeah, get rid of this manager. It's a disgrace. 2 wins later, he's turned it around. I can see what he's doing. I'm fully backing him. And it's like, there is millions of people like that within our fan base, which is why this ownership that I've always said is not as bad, by the way. Yeah, but nobody will come and say sorry to me if they're now swerving. I've never said it's solely the Kroenkes' problem. I've said they knew what they were doing before we moved and the Kroenkes got there. Right? They knew that the globalization of football, they knew of the money coming in, they knew about the Super League. Stan Kroenke just invested into that because he knew what was coming. Yeah, so I've always said that they're not the biggest issue, but it's like, for me, Terry, right? I just look at it and I think like a football club is a reflection of the fan base. Real Madrid, serial winners because their fans demand every single game to be a win. They lost to Sheriff, white hankies are out. They were top of the table in the league, but the hankies are out because the standards are up here. They're like, we want to win every game. And if you don't, it ain't good enough. Same at Bayern Munich, same at City, same at Chelsea, same to a lesser degree now with Barcelona, but it has been, and it has been for a long time at Barca. And it's like, I just look in, I think like people get so hyped over a couple of unbeaten games. We ain't won anything. Where are we going to finish? All you get out of our fans is, well, if we get Europa League this season, that's an achievement. Okay, so we're getting to the Europa League this season to then finish 8th the following season because the Europa League was hampering the league form. Like, do you know what I'm saying? It's rinse and repeat. It's boring. How about go and try and win a title and get in a title race? That's all I want. Be in a title race, yeah, and do it consistently, you know, but we're not going to with this manager, and I ain't changed my mind on him. When he gets us in a title race, and I mean a title race, not just sitting top of the table for one game, you know, or sitting top of the table for 3 games. When you're in a title race, I want to see you in a title race in April, yeah. And if he's still in a title race in April, then I can sit and go, well, actually, maybe I've got it wrong here. Until then, this is all irrelevant rubbish. Go on an unbeaten run. We're a couple of games back away from meltdown again, and everyone's tweeting Arteta out. It's. Mate, I'm the only one really, yeah, with a massive or ish reach, million or more views a month platform that's actually been consistent with it. Everyone else has flipped and flopped all the way through this 2 years. Yeah, and I get that things change and your perception of something will change based on what you're witnessing. But what has people watched? Yeah, what have they all watched in this last 2 years to think that suddenly this guy is going to take us from being ultra negative and defensive to prime Pep and get us into a title charge? Have you seen the 3 teams that are up there? And anyone thinks Arteta can get us to compete with that? You're mad.
Do you know what I would say for me? I feel like in the last few months, there's you look better. You look defensively stronger. You have conceded some chances, but you've now got this goalkeeper who looks brilliant in there that's been making the saves. I think everybody knows how much I've always... It's funny, really, because I've had a lot of like Arsenal fans tag me in things like, what are you saying about Smith Rowe and Saka now? And I'm like, bruv, if you go back and look at everything I've ever said about them, I think they're amazing, especially Saka. I've never dug into them. I think I was on a stream once where I said I thought it was a bit of a stretch to say that when he reaches his peak, Emil Smith Rowe will be one of the top 10 players in the world at that time. And I think that's a... But
Smith Rowe would be better than Saka. I've said this for weeks. He will be better than Saka.
I feel quite a few people have said that. And either way, like, I'm like, it's a weird thing to tag me in. I feel like there have been improvements, and I feel like Arsenal fans should be happy with where they are. But where I find it really interesting, you're obviously one end of the spectrum. You've got other Arsenal fans who are like, I think we'll make the top 4. I think we'll deliver this. You know, I see real great progression. And then I see Jess, for instance, who'll say something like, yeah, I think we'll make the top 6. And then she's getting slammed by some Arsenal fans who are like, that's too negative. We're on this, and I'm sort of like,
why is our fan base as a whole like so woke? Like, why is everything seen as negative for wanting the best or wanting better? Yeah, it's like, I don't get it, Terry.
And being realistic with where they think they are. And I look at Arsenal
it makes no sense. And do you know what, right? I just want to say this as well, because this is why I don't gas up these players, right? When they actually achieve something, and I mean achieve something, right, then I'll gas them up. Yeah, like the FA Cup final, round of applause, gave Mikel Arteta a 10 out of 10, absolute masterclass final, blah, 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 whatever. Yeah, cool, right? Because you won a trophy. The game's about winning. And this is why I don't gas these people up after a couple of games. If you look at Nuno Espirito Santo, he got manager of the month in the first month, won 3 out of 3. 6 games later, he got sacked. Yeah, but he was good for 3 games. Well, so have some of these players been good for 3 games. The next 6, they might be crap. Yeah, this is why people are so reactionary with it, man. They really are. It's the most reactionary sport on the planet, fan base wise.
What's your take here? We had a comment that was sent in earlier from Adrian, who said, like, you were wrong for slating Emil Smith Rowe, but you now won't accept that your opinion about him was wrong.
Where did I slate him? I've always said he's a good player. I've always said I want him to score more goals. Now he's scoring more goals. Well done. Well, where have I slated him? Yeah, I've said our fans gas him up and make out that and they're both overrated, him and Saka, by our fan base. They make out that these two are like prime Messi and Ronaldo or something. Like, they're not. Saka has scored 2 goals in 9 months. Why is everyone gassing that up? If that was Pepe, they'd want him deported. But then when Pepe scores, right, against the last 5 teams in the league or whatever, last season, oh, he's stat padding against the rubbish teams. Well, I don't see Saka stat padding against these teams like Watford, Norwich, Burnley. Do you? And that's not a diss at Saka, because I rate Saka the same as I rate Smith Rowe. I am just realistic with it. I have seen so many youth teamers come into this club and come through the club and everyone hype him up. Carlos Vela, where's he now? Yeah. Gideon Zellerman. Oh, he was the next Fabregas, by the way. Where's he? Denilson, where's he? You know, I could list 100 of these, Terry, yeah? And our fans, just with these 2 in particular, you can't ever criticize them. You can't ever say, well, yeah, well, he had a good performance, but why they need to score more goals? They need to score goals, Terry, because we can't just rely on Aubameyang. We need midfielders to score goals, right? And the fact that he scored 3 in 3, well done. He's obviously listening to my streams. Like, do you know what I mean? But you can't criticize these 2 because they're the golden boys, you know. But if it's Nicola Pepe dropping Saka performances week in, week out, oh, it's a disgrace. It's a waste of money. It's this because they don't like Pepe. They have their favourites. Every fan base has it. Your fan base will have it. Yeah. Chelsea fan base will have it. You know, I argue with Matisse all the time about Hudson-Odoi. Like, and he's like, no, he's brilliant. He's brilliant. We'll start scoring then. Because ultimately, goals win football matches, right? It's not the be-all and end-all as to whether a player is good, but when you're in an attacking position, you have to have defensive work rate to run back. You have to have passing ability. You have to be able to score goals. You have to be able to create goals. If you can do all of that consistently, you'll become a top player and I'll rate you. Yeah. If you don't, like, I'll give an example. Bruno can't pass. He can't dribble. And a lot of his goals have been stat padding. So it was inevitable his goals were going to dry up soon as penalties dried up. And you've had 2 penalties in 18 games. And he's scored one and missed one. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like when you look at, and people look at stats as like just goal output. I'm not looking at just goal output for Smith Rowe because I already know that he's got everything else in his game. He can drive forward, he can dribble, he can tackle, he can run, right? He can pass. Just start scoring. Now he's starting to score. Cool. Well, that's all I wanted you to do, mate. That's not slagging him off. That's just saying you're playing in an attacking position for a top club. You need to score goals, mate. You've got number 10 on your back. If you want the big boy number, mate, you get big boy criticism. Simple as that, isn't it?
Look, I understand. I do understand the angle of which you're coming from, and everything else. They're very talented lads, and I think that less pressure needs to be put upon them by fans as well. I mean, there's a lot of people sort of, you know, in the England squad now. They've got getting into a few Arsenal fans have said to me, "Do you think Ramsdale should start for England?" And honestly, I'd say this to Arsenal fans: he probably should, but I wouldn't be that. I know it's sometimes nice to have your players in the England team. For me, as a Man United fan that grew up with some of our biggest and best players in that England team, I was so happy when Scholes walked away, because then when England fouled, it weren't my player who was getting berated and abused. Yep. Like the pressure that comes with that is you know, look at Pickford. Look at Pickford's form before and after becoming the England number 1. He was a much better goalkeeper before he was England number 1. And there's now this pressure on him to deliver.
He's a better keeper for England than he is for his club.
Yeah. And look, I'm not saying that will happen to Ramsdale, because
it does work the opposite way though, Terry. Right, Saka, for example. Right, Saka would get a free pass because he's missed a penalty for England and people feel sorry for him. Yeah, like genuinely, you've probably seen this all over social media. Anytime somebody criticizes Saka for not scoring goals or dropping a shit performance, there's an army of fans that are on that person's case because you can't criticize him. Why? You're playing for Arsenal Football Club, mate. You're playing for Arsenal. I don't necessarily blame Saka for his output at the minute. I blame the manager because he shouldn't be playing him every week. Yeah, he should not have played 90 minutes the other day. He came off in stoppage time, I think, for Martinelli. If I was Martinelli, I would have told Arteta jog on. Came on for 2 minutes in stoppage time. It's like, you know, and people were telling me. I even said it in my fan cam. I said Saka was poor. He did nothing, did absolutely nothing. You know, and people are going, "Oh, it was one of his best games." Go and rewatch the game. He did nothing. I didn't even know he was on the pitch. Like, until he got subbed, I was like, "Oh, he's still on." But because it's Saka and he's got a cute face and he missed a penalty, yeah, he gets a free pass. Not at my club, mate. No, not for me. That might work at your football club in your head there, but not for me, because I've got a winning mentality of I want my team to be the best. I want all of my team to score goals. Yeah, we don't score enough goals through wing positions or central midfield positions. And it's like, we need to do better. You know, so yeah, going on a great run, whoopee-doo. If we don't win anything at the end of this season in the league, i.e. the league, it's all irrelevant. Because if you qualify for Europa League, for example, or Champions League, right? Okay, cool. You've got another hit at it because you didn't win the league, which is the goal. The goal is to win the league. And if it ain't, then you're in the wrong sport. Right?
Yeah. So go on,
so
mate,
I was going to say, if you get into the Champions League or you get into the Europa League, you've now got a chance to win that trophy. So if you don't win that trophy, you've now failed again. But there you're going to go and do it again and again and again. And we did this with Wenger for 22 times, yeah, in the Champions League. Yes, he won 3 league titles in that time. Congratulations. I enjoyed the football and it was great. But ultimately, the aim of sport is to win the trophy. So if we ain't winning the league and you don't win the competition that you get into, i.e. European competition, you have ultimately failed. So all of this irrelevance in the middle, it looks good on paper. Oh, Aubameyang's got this goal and Xhaka's got this XG and this and that. Who cares? Who cares? Win or you're a loser. It's as simple as that.
There we go. Lee Zaddy Sound, Arsenal viewers, I want your thoughts and feelings. We've got some super chats here. First one from Kenny. Kenny says, sorry, I clicked on the wrong one. It says, Lee Gunnar, do you remember after 3 games you made fun of Arteta and praised Emery as Villarreal were top of the Liga? Where are Villarreal
let me tell you something,
now?
Kenny. Big up to you for watching, my friend. Big up for the super chat as well. Let me tell you something now, yeah? When Arteta has the trophy haul, yeah, because it's about winning trophies, when he has the trophy haul that Unai Emery has, come back to me. Because until then, Arteta's a bum. It's as simple as that. He's got 1 trophy. Well done. Yeah, Unai Emery's won more trophies in Europe than Arteta will ever win in his career.
Kenny's back again. He says Ronaldo celebrated like Laka when he equalized against Atalanta. Yeah, and look.
And that's the mentality of both of our football clubs, by the way. Yeah, you celebrate like that, right? When you equalize in stoppage time. I'm sorry. Yeah, Ronaldo, I know why Ronaldo does it, right? And he's been doing it for his whole career, right? But that is the mentality. You're running around, jumping around, screaming and shouting, ripping your top off and jumping in crowds and stuff like that because you've equalized against a team you should be beating. I'm sorry, that tells me there's a mentality problem.
Well, I think for Ronaldo's one, it was more the case of it practically stopped us going out the Champions League. So I think in terms of the...
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it.
No, I do think there's a slight difference. I do think a slight difference, but I hear you on that. Let's do some more of these super chats. Have you noticed how StreamYard's fixed the thing now so you don't lose super chats if you haven't scrolled down for a bit? It's so nice. Oh, no, so it literally means you don't lose any of your chat if it's old. It just saves the whole chat now, so you can't ever miss a super chat to put up on the screen.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I've just noticed.
It's so good.
Sick.
It's so good. The problem with Saka is, unlike Smith Rowe, Saka has had no rest since the first lockdown in 2020. This manager has overused him, hence why he's now tired and not performing. Is what Stephen Fleck. Listen, bro. Hope you are well, by the way.
Big up to him.
Forbes here says, I agree with Lee. Winning in consistent form matters. I would like to ask, what changes does Lee want to see to feel more confident with our chances?
The manager.
Do you want to see him gone? You still want to see him gone? You still want him sacked?
Yeah. Terry, I wanted him sacked after we won the FA Cup final. So just going on a 10-game unbeaten run, I don't know why so many people have asked me since we beat Watford at the weekend, have you changed your mind? Oh, you're in the mud. In the mud for what? We're 5th in the table. If your ambition is 5th, then I'm sorry, raise your standards. Because my ambition is 1st, which is why we smashed the stadium down. I'm bored of saying it. Right? I don't know why people keep asking me.
Nabil here says, Ollie and coaching teams, Collins, it will be sacked before the international break ends. Lee, Bruno is class. Shut up. Clearly, you don't watch United games, Joker.
Oh, I watch every United game.
No, I would say I watch every United game, right? I skipped over your comment.
His heat map is literally sheeping Ronaldo. Yeah, every game. Because he wants to be the hero. And now the hero's changed. You said it the other week. He was the hero. He's now not the hero.
Yeah,
Ronaldo is. And he's so close to Ronaldo that your midfield just gets walked through.
Yeah, look, but our midfield has been getting, you know, I've seen a lot of people try and put our current situation down to that. And we were struggling ever before it. Bruno has actually improved. His creativity this season has been astronomically good. Best creator in the Champions League, best creator in the Premier League, best creator in Europe. He's just adapted his game a little bit. He's not scoring the goals because Ronaldo's there. So I do disagree on that. He's world-class, Bruno. Saka was balling, but built an agenda for Pepe. Cool. Is what Wayne nearly said it. I nearly said it. Nearly said it there. Didn't quite happen. Bruno has created the most chances in the league and in the Champions League. Stop the disrespect of the guy.
Does he take free kicks and corners?
But no, that's not true though. He's got the most open play chances created as well.
And how many assists?
Yeah, but it's big chances created. Ain't his fault if someone misses.
Oh, come on, man. Seriously, you're sounding like these accounts on Twitter and that, mate. Yeah, a created chance, Terry. I could pass you the ball and you shoot from halfway. It's a created chance. You can take
no. So I hear you.
And
so
I can head it over. It's a created chance.
On that, if you include these free kicks and corners, he's got the most. If you take away set pieces, he's got the most. If you look at big chances created, so when he
so it's Ronaldo's fault.
No. But no, that isn't the point. In terms of creating big chances in Europe, he's still leading the way in every creative metric, whether it be...
Okay, what about passing metric?
What's that got to do with anything?
Well, he's a midfielder, so he needs to pass, doesn't he? He needs to pass.
Passes.
Yeah, no, I'm not talking about just passing the final part. I'm talking about all passes. What about his tackling? What about his tracking back? What about distance covered? What about you know, kilometers run, like distance covered, like I said? What about wow, what's the other one? It's on the second of my tongue. Fuck. I don't know. It's gone. Because a midfielder, a central midfielder, tracking runners, that's another one. What about his tracking runners? What about his dribbling ability? Can he dribble around the man and ping that pass?
Yeah, but if he's not a great dribbler, you know, this is what's interesting I find about this. And these stats are a great thing to bring up about Bruno. But there was one that was always gone around about him, loses the ball too much. On average per game, he loses the ball less than KDB, five times less than KDB does. But no one's ever focused on that element.
Okay, that's cool. How many touches in comparison have they had?
Very similar.
Overall games, KDB's total touches and then possession lost. And then Bruno's total touches and possession lost. Because even though he loses it 5 times more per game, I guarantee De Bruyne touches the ball maybe 50, 60, 70 times more a game than Bruno does. So that's another one that's fudged.
Well, it depends on what the answer. It depends on what the answer comes out like. I mean, but this is the thing. People have said about Bruno, he spams crosses into the box. Well, he attempts per 90 minutes 5 less crosses per game than KDB with a 29% more accurate rate. That isn't spamming. That's the other one.
Which is why De Bruyne gives the ball away more often, because he's putting more crosses into the box to try and create more goals. And if you look at it,
they're less accurate,
the 2 players in world football that give away the ball the most are Neymar and De Bruyne, 2 of the most attack-minded footballers on the planet.
So in terms of touches per game,
they're trying to affect the game.
So in terms of touches per game, Bruno is currently averaging 79 touches per game. KDB 83. So he's touching the ball only 4 times more a game. And if those 4 touches are him losing,
is that on the league or overall? Or
that's the league over the last 3 seasons. So literally, he touches the ball 4 times more. Look, I understand Bruno criticism. My view is very much this though. Bruno gets criticized in isolation. So example being, he'll lose the ball too much. What doesn't happen is there's not a body of work that goes into looking at how often other high creative players or high goal scoring midfielders are losing the ball. And I'll give you an example. When he was scoring more goals, he used one of the games where he lost. I think he lost the ball in a game like 22 times. And that's a disgrace. 3 of those times were because he scored a goal and got an assist. And obviously, when you get an assist or you score a goal, the other team gets possession. So statistically, it counts. So I was like, you got to take 3 of them away, right?
This is why I don't look at stats, Terry.
I hear you,
because they're all.
But the point I'm making is that it's sometimes I did it with Rashford gets a lot of it. He makes the wrong decision. Then you ask people, well, what do you define as making the wrong decision? And I can only go by what people say to me, not what everybody thinks. And this guy that called in and said, well, if he decides to cross and we don't score from it, or he decides to shoot and we don't score from it, it was the wrong decision. And I'm like, fine, if that's your definition, but that means then how many more is he making per game compared to everybody
Let me ask
else?
you a simple question, Terry.
It's
right?
mad. It's mad.
No, I get what you're saying, right? And Bruno's not for everyone. It's kind of ironic that he left Sporting Lisbon and they won a title, though, isn't it? Yeah. There we go. Let me ask you a question, though.
Yeah, but
Who would you rather at Man United, Bruno Fernandes or Kevin De Bruyne?
honestly, I looked at. I'm really biased on this. I'm keeping Bruno
as if you're
Fernandes.
saying
I'm
Bruno,
keeping
man.
Bruno
I'm
Fernandes.
going.
I am. No, bro, but you're the same guy that said that Thierry, that Bergkamp was the greatest ever player in the Prem, and not Thierry Henry. Like,
He is.
It's horses for courses. It's
Yeah,
horses
well,
for courses.
okay. Well, I get. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
You shut me up there, innit?
Yeah. But yeah,
How many
no,
people can shut me up, Terry? You shut me
I
up
know,
quite a lot.
but that's because we get on and we know it ain't coming from a malicious place. I just think that sometimes when I see, I don't really mind anybody's opinion, but when people deliver facts, like Joe Blogs loses it too much. It's like, well, compared to who? If you look at some of the most highly creative players in the Premier League, Trent Alexander-Arnold's one of them, KDB, Bruno, the amount of times they lose the ball per game is almost identical to one another. So I look at it and go, well, that makes more sense. His passing accuracy is only in the high 70s. And all those players, their passing accuracy is in around the high 70s, low 80s. Unless there's a standout issue that he has more than anybody else, the criticism is unwarranted, in my opinion, you know. And again, you can say someone makes bad decisions. Well, show me the metrics that, you know, how many bad decisions are other people making? Or is it just in your head? You know,
Everyone's got their favourites. That's the problem, Terry.
And that's what happens. And I've seen it before. I was about to say, I used to watch a few people's watch-alongs, and it was like Man United fans. Like, it's easy to say United. And I would see, like, every time Rashford had a shot, it didn't go in. It was, fuck's sake, Rashford, stop shooting. Every time Martial shot, it didn't go in. It was like, oh, go on, Tony. Better luck next time, Tony. It's like, I used to sit there watching it going, what am I listening to? As a Man United fan, I'm annoyed when anybody misses, and I'm happy when anybody scores. Maybe that's just my way of doing it differently. But there we go. Let's do some more of these super chats that have come through. Actually, I don't want to miss these as people give us their hard-earned cash, and I really do appreciate that. So many comments, right? Selection says, bollocks, Bruno isn't the best creator in the league. Hell no, lol, is what man like Selection's got to say. He's not a fan of Bruno, by the looks of that super chat. Where is the link? I want to join. Yeah, we're not taking calls on this show today, bro, but what you can do is smash that like button. We're nowhere near 1,000 yet, which means we're not going to give you a clue to the brand new secret phrase in here.
Real soon as well.
No worries, mate. Right, what's the next super chat here? Oh, here we go. It says, Lee, you are spot on, mate. Arsenal didn't play with any system or style or in a pattern like United. Arsenal's joy under Arteta will be short-lived.
Exactly.
Yusuf believes. Lee is going to make Terry go Hulk smash. Don't insult my Bruno. Hashtag triggered.
Are you a proper fangirl, are you? Are you a proper fangirl for Bruno?
No, do you know what it is? Again, yes and no. So when it comes to Bruno Fernandes, I don't care if someone dislikes
If he was a real big fangirl, you'd know it's Bruno Fernandes.
Cool. Bruno. I call him Bruno then, right? But my view is like, when people make weird stuff up, like he spams the ball into the box, like, what do you mean by that? He just hit and hopes. I'm like, but he's only making like 4 crosses per game. So how's that hitting and hoping? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. Yes, he hits a lot of things first time. You know, I've had a lot of people say, well, that's the kind of thing for me. It's like, that's ridiculous criticism because it doesn't make sense. You're being overtly negative and making something up. If you want to have somebody that, you know, if not recognizing the level of creativity, not recognizing the goals, i.e., for instance, if he does get a lot of assists because he's good at corners, so what? Being a good corner taker is a great.
Yeah, corners are hit and hope, Terry.
No, they're not, because Man
You're
United
putting it into a position where you're hoping that somebody's going to run on and bully the centre back and win it.
West Ham United are deadly from set pieces at the moment. That's not hitting hope. It's worked on in the training ground, bro.
No, I know it's worked on in the training ground. I get all of that, yeah. But technically, it's a hit and hope.
Daly here says, Lee Gunnar has killed it on Bruno. McFred take the blame, but he is a midfielder too and always escapes criticism. So Daly suggesting it's not McFred's fault, but Bruno's for Man United.
If McFred are far forward, your defense looks all over the place. We see that against Wolves, right? Where Varane, the gap between Varane and the midfield was about 80 foot. Yeah. And what's his name? Adama Traore is just legging it at everyone, right? And it's the same with that. If Bruno is so far forward that he's right on the back of Ronaldo and there's a turnover of the ball, them two are now getting isolated, and they're coming from everywhere. And if Luke Shaw's caught up the pitch or Wan-Bissaka's caught up the pitch, all of a sudden you look all that, bruv, he's the problem. I'm telling you.
Bruno, so again, I will. Do you know what I'll do? I'll do the research myself. If Bruno's position as a 10 on his heat maps is overtly different from other number 10s in the world, then I'll say there's a problem. But let me ask you this question. If every other top number 10 in the top 4 league, his heat map looks almost identical to his, then it can't be Bruno's positioning. It has to be the team structure behind him, right?
But who's putting the team in place?
The managers.
Okay, so why does he keep picking a player that's not helping do defensive work? Even it's irrelevant whether other teams' heat maps look the same, because if he ain't scoring that many goals, which he ain't at the minute,
but his job is to create now.
His job as a footballer is to defend as well, because defending starts from attack. Yeah, the best the best players in the world have work rate backwards. Kevin De Bruyne works his nuts off.
Yeah, but Kevin De Bruyne plays in a deeper role. He plays part of the 3, not as a 10. David Silva in the Premier League, nobody ever said, well, what does David Silva do defensively? Nobody ever said, when Juan Mata was in his peak, nobody said, what's Juan Mata doing defensively?
But David Silva's a different player to Bruno because he can dribble.
But they played it. Okay, they've got different attributes, but the position is the same. Emil Smith-Rowe right now is playing as an attacker. No one's asking about his defensive stats because that's not the important thing for an attacker. And Bruno is an attacker.
It's part of the team, Terry, yeah? And then Smith-Rowe, the amount of times that boy is tracked back, and getting the ball back, or then carrying the ball from defensive positions up over the halfway line. When do you see Bruno doing that? It's all part and parcel of being an attacking player as well. Just because you're an attacking player, it don't mean you can mince around like Mesut Ozil used to do for us, right? And shirk all your defensive work. You defend as a team, and it's irrelevant whether the heat maps look the same as others, because the other compare it to I don't know, Chelsea, for example. Compare it to the top teams in the league. Yeah, compare it to the top 4 or 5 teams in the league. Yeah. But you're not one of them top 4 or 5 teams in the league at the minute. So there's something fundamentally wrong. And if the manager who's in charge of picking that team can see that there's something fundamentally wrong, which he obviously can't, and if he can, then he's ignorant to it, then he needs to change that. And changing that means moving players around and telling them to do more. Irrelevant of what other teams are doing, because you're not the other teams.
I just done the comparisons here with KDB. So on tackles made per game, Bruno 1.5, KDB 1.4. Ground duels 1 per game, Bruno 3.6, KDB 4.2. Clearances per game, so out of your own box clearances, Bruno 1.2 per game, KDB 0.4. Interceptions per game, both the same on 0.4. So again, on the defensive metrics, presses per game, Bruno Fernandes around 7.
That presses metric, I ain't even taking that seriously. Nobody closes down another footballer. I mean, commentary.
But I'm saying, but they close down the opponent almost identical. Bruno 6.8.
Yeah, you just said they play different positions.
Okay, but you use them as an example.
Yeah, because mate, I don't need stats to see De Bruyne is a miles better footballer,
and that's fine. But what you're asking for is how many times a game is Bruno Fernandes? I see Bruno Fernandes tackling. I see him in duels. I see him tracking back. I see him working in his own box. The statistics then prove that he's doing these things to the same degree as these other players. That's my point. When it comes to Bruno, people say, oh, he's not doing all these things. You present the factual information.
Okay, I totally accept what you just said. Totally accept it. My point is that it's obviously not working. So something needs to change. You can't have 2 players in the team. Yeah, let's be real here. Ronaldo's another one, right? Ronaldo will run around a little bit and do these 40-yard bursting runs. But ultimately, again, he is a slight issue to how you play, because everything has to go to Ronaldo. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like,
again, but my view is, mate, is I understand your point, but
both of them players are a problem. You need to find a system that works better. Yeah,
the players aren't the problem.
You're not conceding so many goals, Terry. That's my point.
I hear you that the players aren't the problem. They're brilliant players. It's the manager not creating a process and a system that works for them. I'm not.
So if they're that good footballers, surely they can work it out themselves then and say, oh, wait, you stop fucking off up there, get back here and help out. Like, get here, sit here for 5 minutes. We're 1-0 up. Let's not get over.
I don't know.
If
that was the case, then Liverpool wouldn't need Klopp and City wouldn't need Pep. Those managers make those teams fundamentally better. The manager is such a key. If it was not about the managers and about the players, you shouldn't have an issue with Arteta.
Can I? Oh no, 100%. Mate, I want someone who can win the title. That guy ain't ever winning it. That's my issue with him.
But the point is, Ollie isn't winning a title. Ollie's team, like we're sitting fifth and we're not doing very well at the minute because I think there's bigger issues. But Ollie, as a manager, has got us has managed to get Man United to finish between sort of, I think, 6th in the first year, but he'd only took over halfway through, and then 3rd and 2nd. But he ain't good enough to win a title, and that's because we need a world-class manager. I think what's happened, my view, is expectation has come in this year. It's cracked the pipes because Ollie can't take the pressure and things are fizzling out of control. Trust me, if we bring in a world-class manager, this world-class manager is going to play and help build a team around Bruno Fernandes and make him the player.
Can I just say one more thing on that point you just made in the comparison to De Bruyne? Yeah, of course he'll make less tackles in a game because they have more of the possession in pretty much every single game. So of course he's going to make less tackles than Bruno. You lot barely dominate possession. Yeah, so it's always a 50-50 game. You always have. So Bruno will always make more tackles, but that doesn't mean that he's actually doing what he should be doing as a midfielder. Just because he's down as an attacking midfielder, like, doesn't mean that he should. Every time I watch Man United, that guy's always caught up on the edge of the box when they're counter attacking every time, and he's trotting back. Whenever I see Man City play, yeah. Man City have 70-80% of the ball most of the time. So De Bruyne is always going to make less tackles.
And look, and that's an absolute fair point. And again, I think when you look at these works, you've got to look at multiple players and multiple teams, not just 2 individuals. Like I've said, it's about comparing him against these peers. Man United definitely have a structural issue at the football club that needs to be addressed, that needs to be looked at, that needs to be kind of delved into, in my view. Ollie has told Bruno to stay up high on the pitch and not to track back. Bruno said so himself in the game against Atalanta. I hear you on that, and something definitely needs to change in relation to that. There was one more super chat here, and I know, Lee, you've got to shoot. Grey Wolf Dinner says, Man United, for me, have the 4th most talented squad in the league. Even a tier 1 manager will probably wouldn't win the league. I
don't agree with that. I think if you get a proper manager in, you might not win it, but you'll definitely be in a title race.
Oh, yeah. I agree with you 100%.
And I think that's all Man United fans want, is they just want to be in a title race. Same as me. I just want Arsenal to be in a title race. I'm sick and tired of this 4th is a trophy crap and Europa League and all this. Nah, man. It's not about Europa League to then cry when we finish 8th that the Europa League got in the way. Like, it just gets boring after 20 years, man.
No, mate, listen, bruv, I totally get that point of view. Dude, listen, everyone that has super chatted today, a massive thank you to each and every single one of you. Check out Lee's channel. The link is in the title. If it isn't, refresh it because it's been added a little while ago. So make sure you refresh it. Smash the like button before you leave. This has been Straight Facts. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Goodbye.